Hi, it's Vex, and today we're taking a break from EDH and we're talking about our modern mill deck. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about modern. That's all right. Modern's got mill has gotten a huge upgrade recently from our good friend Tasha's Hideous Laughter, right here, and Fractured Sanity from Modern Horizons 2 and Adventures in the Forgotten Realm. So this is another deck in our Let's Build Deck series. I love building decks for all constructed formats. You know I love Commander, but I still love Modern. Modern is the format I've played since the beginning. I've seen a lot of changes, and it's been pretty fun. I'm actually glad this deck is no longer a meme. Just like Hammer Time deck, this deck is a real legit deck. And let's take a look at it. So it's easy. Since the beginning of time, maybe in Antiquities, not exactly in Alpha, there was Millstone to let you mill your opponents for 2 cards each. And the alternate win condition is if you draw out of an empty library, you automatically lose the game. Unless you have, a Lab Maniac or Jace Wielder of Mystery. But that's another issue for another day. All right, let's go over this mill deck and how we want to mill. Mill is kind of like another way of burning the opponent. Each of these cards does repeatable or single shot damage, just like Goblin Guide or Lightning Bolt. And then the more damage they take, the less deck they have, the closer to killing them you are. All right, so let's take a look at this. We have our crabs here. Heejin Crab, landfall. Then when a land enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts top 3 cards of their library into the graveyard. This is 0-2. This target player, so if you have Leyline Sanctity, if they have Leyline Sanctity in play, you have to target yourself, unfortunately. But it's good to have this crab. Very few people play Leyline Sanctity now. So you have 4 Heejin Crabs, mill 3 apiece. If you have a fetch land, you mill 6. So that is super, super sweet there. We have new Zendikar Rising. So all these new cards from these new sets are really helping this deck out. And then people are really playing Lurrus and Modern, reducing their average mana value. So Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which we'll get to, does really good work there. Then you have your Ruined Crab. Land and ETBs. Each opponent mills 3 cards and has extra toughness to block Ragavan all day long. The Heejin Crab cannot block Ragavan and survive, but the Ruined Crab can, and it doesn't target. So Leyline Sanctity is out of question. We have our another other creature, Snapcaster Mage. We can use this for things like Fatal Push, Surgical Extraction. So let's actually go through those cards. Our spells. So this deck actually is itself a Lurrus deck. So our little companions, put that there. Because these are the only permanents we have. We have 9 permanents with less than 2 or less mana value. So we would declare Lurrus as our companion. Of course, we could get Lurrus to our hand to, discard or do something with. Play this, get a crab back, who knows. Anyways, moving on here. We have our spells. We got Fatal Pushes to kill Ragavans and such that really annoy us. Surgical Extraction. I think the original deck list has 4 Surgical Extractions, but I put 3 because I replaced it with a Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster Mage is so versatile because you could Surgical for 2 mana and 4 life. So I just removed that and replaced it with Snapcaster Mage because Snapcaster just lets you Surgical. Visions of Beyond. This is if a graveyard has 20 more cards, Ancestral Recall. So that's super sweet. And I'm Drowning the Lock here. This is a really interesting card. It's another new card from Eldraine. Counter target spell with CMC less than or equal to the number of cards in its controller's graveyard, or destroy target creature with CMC, which mana value, not converted mana. God, I'm sorry, I get used to this mana value. So as long as the creature's spell's mana value is less than or equal to the number of cards in the opponent's graveyard, you can counter or destroy it. Crypt Incursion, exile all creatures from target player's graveyard, gains a bunch of life. It's really good against Burn, against maybe Elemental's deck or something. Or Reanimator, because if they try to reanimate a creature, you just create Crypt Incursion and exile all the creatures. Fractured Sanity is a brand new card. I love this card. The mana cost is very difficult, blue, because we are playing some colorless lands in our deck. But each opponent mills 14 cards. So essentially that's 1/4 of the life. If you consider it's a burn deck, blue is essentially 5 damage and more, depending on how many cards they draw. So it's super sweet. But the cool part is that if you need to cycle early or you kick it the blue, and so you can cycle it. So when you cycle it, each opponent mills 4 cards. So you still cycle it and gain a little value, not too bad. This is the big heavy hitter here, Tasha's Hideous Laughter from Adventures of Forgotten Realm, and it's 1 blue, not blue. A little easier to cast. Each opponent exiles top card of the library until that player has exile cards with total mana value 20 or more. This is more difficult to play in real life because you have to keep track on the in Arena or Magic Online. It just does it for you. Beware, this is against elementals is pretty harsh because they have the pitch elementals, which have cost 0 but have 5 or 4 mana value. Right there. This is our free one. This is the old goodie classic from Zendikar original. Archive Trap. When an opponent searches their library, you pay 0 rather than pay Archive Trap, and then you mill 13. So sweet. So you're like, Vex, what if they don't play fetch lands? Well, you have your Field of Ruin to force them to search their library and shuffle. This is the colorless card I told you about that doesn't work really well with Factor Sanity, but you could, when you do cast or use Field of Ruin, you can get an island from your deck. We do have our islands here, as you can see, 4 islands. Basic lands for Field of Ruin or our fetch lands. We have Polluted Delta and Flooded Strand. So I know I have all these out of order here. Right there, these are our fetchies. Oops, lots of Polluted Delta right there. And our dual lands here, we have Watery Grave and 1 Darkslick Shores. Gotta have the Zendikar Expedition Darkslick Shores. The only reason I have is I can't find my other Darkslick Shores, but it is what it is. I have our 1 basic Swamp, 1 Oboro, Palace in the Clouds. This is usually for landfall, so you can just play this right there. And then you can tap it for 1 blue, use the same blue, return it to your hand, and play it again for landfall. Oh, I am throwing cards everywhere. Landfall for our Crab Synergy here. Sheldock Isle, this is super cool. Let's actually read this. This land at ETB is tapped. When it does, look at the top 4 cards of your library. Remove 1 of them from the game face down, which exile. This old card, Lauren, and then it can tap for a blue. So it does ETB tapped because of Hideaway. Then you pay blue and tap. You may play the exile card without paying its mana cost if a library has 20 or fewer cards in it. So the more you mill, closer you get to your free spell from Sheldock Isle. Alright, so that's the base deck. Our goal is to take them from 60 to 0 cards, have them draw from empty library, and then lose. We also have some sideboard cards here. We added more removal in Blood Chief's Thirst right there. Can remove Planeswalkers. Ren 6 is a problem. It can remove Ren 6 because this is destroy target creature, Planeswalker, convert mana cost or mana value 2 or less. Spells kick, destroy any of them. So that's that. We do have issues with Gaia's Blessing and Eldrazi. People just put Eldrazi in their sideboard so they would not lose to this deck. What we could do is use Soul Guide Lantern, essentially exile a card in their graveyard right away. Then we could tap it, sack it, exile each opponent's graveyard with the Eldrazi trigger on the stack, or the Gaia's Blessing trigger on the stack. So this is hate for their hate, or if they're a graveyard reanimator deck, you could use Soul Guide Lantern as well. More removal here, even more removal. So this deck is very soft to remove. These crabs can only block so much. So you have, this is also enchantment removal, Feed the Swarm, Bantu's Last Reckoning. If they're really like one of those Ragavan, Dragon's Reign Channeler decks, just like going after you super quick, or Prowess decks, you could use one of these right here. Mystical Dispute, anti-blue card, super sweet. Again, all these are still work with Lurrus, so you don't have to worry about if Lurrus is after you sideboard, because some people play Ensnaring Bridge in this section here, so sometimes you have to uncompanion Lurrus, but we're all good with Lurrus here. All right, I know, I wish they would unban Lurrus in Legacy, right? They probably have to reban Lurrus. Let's actually shuffle up this main deck. You know I love gold fishing, so we'll actually do that. But before we go fish, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be alerted for new videos coming out. EDH videos, modern videos, sometimes Legacy, Let's Build a Deck videos. I just love all formats, and they're super fun. We're gonna shuffle this up here, and we'll be right back. We are back with our companion Lurrus, and we conveniently have another 60 card deck, because obviously it's hard to goldfish without a 60 card deck. So this is our opponent's deck. Boom, boom. Opponent has drawn 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're just going to ignore what the opponent's doing. Ignore the fact this is a burn deck and can kill you pretty fast, but we do have Crypt Incursion. They've drawn 7 cards. 7 cards in hand. Then it's our turn. I mean, let's say we're going first. We draw our 7 cards. 6, 7. Perfect. I picked up just 7. Let's see what we got here. Crabs and more crabs. All right, fetch land, crab. No, this is a fetch land. Shock land. Darkslick Shores. Crabs and Fracture Sanity. Okay, say we go first here. We'll just play Darkslick Shores. Play our bigger crab, Ruined Crab, because it could block a Ragavan in the dark. And then our opponent would go. See, the cool part about instead of, if you imagine if this is a burn deck, they don't do damage to themselves. But because this is a mill deck, opponent goes, draws a card, they do, a tiny bit of damage to themselves. One divided by, 57 cards in a deck. But it's still a tiny bit of damage, still cool. They do their thing. We do our thing. You untap. You draw a card. Tasha's Hideous Laughter as a sweet card. Now, before you play your land, I know this is not Days format, so you don't have to worry about Days. You do have to worry about Mystical Dispute. Play a crab, right? And then we'll just, so next turn we have choices, right? We could play this crab now with a Watery Grave. Right here, have triple crab and use this fetch land for do triple. Actually, next turn we don't have many choices, right? We're just going to play this crab here. So we're going to shock this in because we're going to save our fetch land to have triple crab fetch land, which is better value, hoping these crabs don't die. Well, let's just pretend we're playing against a goldfish and not like a real burn deck like this. But we'll shock in our Watery Grave. We'll deal 3 here. Right, 1, 2, 3 cards from one crab. Another 3 cards from another crab. Landfall's ability. Bam, here. We'll tap this. We'll play our 3rd crab. Next turn we'll do some magic milling with our Polluted Delta here. So, they draw a card. They deal damage to themselves. Don't forget that deal damage. And then bam, we'll draw a card. Visions Beyond. This is sweet. Polluted Delta. Okay. We'll play our Polluted Delta. Play that. Triple mill them 3 times. So 1 trigger, 2 triggers. Let's use this. And then 3 triggers. Bam. Right there. Okay, we'll crack our Polluted Delta. We'll get Island. Here, since we want to take extra more shock damage here. We'll take an Island. We'll do the shuffle our deck. We'll do the 9-ball mill again. It's like 1/6 of their life. Bam, so it's mill something. Some cards over here again. Boom. Mill. I know it's all foil deck I have over here. Mill. Then mill. Then they're over halfway dead, as you can see. Their piles. This is their milled pile and the non-milled pile. Boom. Sweet. Then we go for the blow. Tasha's Hideous Laughter. And this is the fun part. We get to count. This is how you do it in real life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is also a Lurrus deck too. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nothing. 12, 13, 14. Nope. Nope. Oh, that's good for us. 15, 16. 17, 18, 19, 20. Kaboom. That much of the library is left. We could block all their creatures with this. And then we say go. And then we untap. We draw our card. Shuffle dock out. Doesn't matter. We'll Visions Beyond Us. Ancestral Recall. 1, 2, 3. We can Crypt Incursion. We'll play land. Mill 9 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then what we'll do is we will crack the land. Now we're just gonna cycle Fracture Sanity and kill him by milling 4, and then drawing a card from that cycle. bam. Then we win. Right, this is turn 4. I believe it's turn 4 win. Let's count this again, right? Turn 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, turn 4 win. All right, if you enjoyed this quick little Let's Build Deck video, again, give the video a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, hit notification bell to be alerted for new videos coming out. I do a lot of paper magic. As you can see, all my videos usually involve some paper magic. And as always, have a wonderful day.